गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to do something about Atmanirbharta, indigenization, and getting the winning edge in battle. And we're going to talk about the integrated air defense weapon system, which was recently fired, test fired in India. And to talk about this, I have with me General VK Saxena. Sir, good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot once again. You've been
Thank you.
last year we spoke, but we're coming back together.
Thank you.
It's a great feeling to have you here, and I must tell all viewers of Gunner Shot. I mean, I must introduce this great gentleman, uh, and I honestly mean he's great. Right? You're looking at a doyen of air defense. He's knows more about. He's forgotten more about air defense artillery and air defense and everything than we can even imagine in our lives. Making this statement. Why I said artillery? Because when we were together, got commissioned in artillery in the good old days when air defense and field artillery were together. And I still remember he was one of the most professional officers at that time. And I'm now going back to 1977, 78. And when we were young officers in Devlali. And much later, General Saxena and I commanded regiments together, and we were colonels and brimming and bright young colonels commanding regiments across the road in Devlali. And we known each other, family, everything. And later on, he took to writing, he took to research, he took to military research, and he's contributed tremendously to air defense. He retired as the Director General of Air Defense. Now, the interesting thing is, we are of the same generation. We were all ADGs and DGs almost together. And why I am going to make this point is that whatever he did then, about 10 years back when he was the Director General of Air Defense, uh, came to fruition now in Op Sindoor. The programs which he put through, I still remember many of these programs. Just to give you an idea, is this, I won't say upgunning, it is refurbishment of the L60 and L70, modernization program. That was, many people I remember asking him, why are you trying to modernize this L70? I still remember him telling people, look, what we have, let's modernize it. We don't know what we're going to get ahead. But the good thing is, we've not only got a modern L70 today, we've got latest state of the art equipment. And I can also assure you that this integrated air defense weapon system, to give you a introduction, sir, permit me. It's got three components. It's got three components. One component is the QRSAM. It's the quick reaction surface to air missile, which is a man-packed version, right? Uh, not the man-packed. It's a vehicle-based version, and then it has got the directed energy weapon system and the VSHORADs, that is very short-range air defense system. Now, all these I have put together form the IADWS. And the beauty is that these were fired just about 10 days back after Op Sindoor. Now, just think, Op Sindoor with what we had, we downed hell of a lot. We gave Pakistan a great kick on its backside. Once these come in, we should be able to handle China and Pakistan together without any issues. And it's a matter of pride. And I know for sure in QRSAM, in VSHORADs, and in the DEW, the initial thought process was thanks to General Saxena. And, after retirement, he's been in think tanks, he's written books, he's the works, right? And I'm very happy that today he's here with us to educate us all about the IADWS. Right, so my
Thank
first
you.
takeover. Do explain to all of us who are there, because many of us would want to know what the fundamental capabilities of IADWS are, and then we'll go ahead. All yours, sir.
First of all, PR, thank you very much for taking me through the memory lane, covering about 40 to 42 years of togetherness and all the nostalgic moments. Well, coming to the integrated air defense weapon system, I have seen many of the headlines and breaking news and so on talking about that this is one all and it'll do everything. Eh, There is a need to put the weapon system in its correct perspective. That I can only start by saying that all air defenses the world over exist for what? Exist for a sole reason to counter the enemy's air threat, which can manifest at anything at air and ground, sea, subsurface, either individually or simultaneously. In that, the ground based component of this air defense is protecting the critical assets which are lying on ground. That ground can be anywhere, it can be in rear areas, it can be in a place called Tactical Battle Area or TBA. I'm going to explain a word about TBA. What is TBA? Tactical Battle Area or TBA is that forward zone of the battle where the opposing forces engage in tactical engagements. They have military duels, they have tactical battle, they have tank battle. The opposing forces take the battle forward as it shapes. You can say the forward area of the battle where the action is taking place is actually the tactical battle area. It is in this tactical battle area that you have to situate or you have to find the relevance of integrated air defense weapon system. Now, what is so peculiar? What is so peculiar about this tactical battle area? Tactical battle area is very special. First of all, who populates this area? The one who populate this area are battle tanks, BMPs, infantry combat vehicles, high mobility vehicles carrying either combat equipment or support echelons, and also it has mobile command control infrastructure, mobile on wheels. All these are very critical infrastructure which is taking the battle forward. Now, who is threatening them? What is threatening all these things together when the tank battles are going on? The air threat is threatening them. Now, what is it? Air threat, a sharp air threat which is impinging on the tactical battle area. It has six components. First of all, it is the strike aircrafts. Today, our adversaries have fourth, fifth, and sixth, about to get sixth generation aircraft loaded to the teeth, stealth capability as also capability for standoff weapons. That means launching weapons from outside the kill envelope of the air defense weapons and precisely shooting them. We have second killer is the attack helicopters of the enemy. You must have heard of Wing Loom 2 of China, CH-4, and of course lesser degree Burak and so on. They are attack helicopters which can pop up at the last moment. They have the capability to fly nap of the earth very low, below radar detection, cannot be detected. Suddenly they will come up and pose a threat. Then there is a loitering munition. What is loitering munition? You must have read about the Azerbaijan, Armenia war. You must have seen Horop and many other type of loitering munition. They are GPS guided, satellite precisely controlled weapons which lie in wait in the tactical battle area to take their target whenever it presents itself. Then you have anti-radiation missiles which are launched to take out the sensors of the enemy's air defenses. Then you have standoff weapons. And lastly, you have drones. What drones? Drones of all types. Small drones, which are called ISTAR machine. What is ISTAR? Intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, and reconnaissance. Your small kamikaze drone like Anka, you must have seen in Obsindur, carrying a few kgs of warhead. Then you have dedicated unmanned combat aerial vehicles of various types, either Turkish, Bayraktar, or maybe Chinese or Pakistani, all types. These are the six types of threat which is impinging on the tactical battle area. Now, in tactical battle area, what is there to protect against them? It is not a normal air defense protection. To protect against air threat in tactical battle area, you have to understand what are the nuances of tactical battle area. Here, the battle is very fluid. It changes very fast. There are fleeting opportunities which come and go. The air threat will show up for a short time and obliterate your assets and go. There are uncertainty, fluidity, mobility, and there are fleeting opportunities. Now, for the air defense to protect the assets in tactical battle area, there are 4, 5 very important consideration. What is the first consideration? The weapons which are protecting the TBA assets must have the same mobility or even higher mobility than the assets being protected, like tank, infantry combat vehicles, BMP. Either same mobility or higher mobility. If I cannot keep up with you, how will I protect you? If I cannot go ahead of you, how will I protect you? Number one. Number two, air defense weapons are not small arms. They are long range weapons. They have to look long distance, detect the target, track it, carry out surveillance, track it, and fire upon it. For that, they must carry out these weapons in the tactical battle area, must carry out surveillance on the move and tracking of targets on the move. What about firing? Ideally, an air defense weapon must fire on move, or they may take a short hard, minimally short hard, and fire. Another requirement in tactical battle area is survivability. It is this area where the enemy is concentrating its suppression of enemy air defense efforts, its electronic warfare effort, its cyber effort to kill your air defense. So your weapon must survive that, and your weapon should be able to have a range and reach. In air defense, this term is used, range and reach. What is range? Range is range of the strike range. What is reach? Altitude coverage. Now, a tactical battle area today requires a weapon system to have a firearm of from terminal end to about 30 kilometers and an altitude coverage from 30,000 to 50,000 feet. That is the type of envelope which the air defense weapons must have to protect the tactical battle area properly. Now, against this backdrop, what have we got today? We have got, I will only tell you up to the limit of open source, we have critical voids in this area. Now, coming to the most least weapon, that is the closest. What is our closest weapon? There are guns and gun missile systems. What are these? They're the ones which protect 2 to 3 kilometer range. We have two types of system. One is called the ZSU 4B1 Shilka weapon system. It has got 4 barrels and can fire 3,400 rounds per minute. And the second is Tunguska weapon system, which has got two 30 millimeter cannons and 8 missiles. The cannons can fire 4,000 to 5,000 rounds per minute, and the missiles can fire from 2.5 to 8 kilometers. Why I am giving you these figures? These guns are not easy and small guns. They spew a tremendous amount of fire in the tactical battle area so that the targets which provide fleeting opportunities can be killed. Now, what is our problem? Our problem is that both these weapons are very old, vintage. Shilka design is 1969 and 71. The Tunguska is 19 of the 70s design. Though we have upgraded certain number, I won't tell you, certain numbers of Shilka weapon system by replacing its old analog RPK2 radar with a digital search and fire control radar, putting an electro-optical fire control system on board. But vintage is vintage, and Tunguska is also 70s vintage. Now come forward. They are 2.53 kilometer. Come forward. For forward, we have only two types of weapons, which is called 9K35 Strela Telem and 9K33 Osa AK. What is Strela Telem? Up to 5 kilometer. Osa AK up to 10 kilometer. So I am progressing you forward. 2.5, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. Then there is a gap. And we have weapon systems which do not cover the ranges ahead of that. Indian Army are knowing this gap for a long time. So what it do? In August 2024, in 2023, Army issued a RFI that they wanted a mechanized, based on tank chassis, a air defense system which has a range of about 15-20 kilometers, because we are finishing at 10. So two systems were evaluated. One is called the K-30 Bihu system of South Korea, and second is the Pantsir system of Russia. Happy to tell you that in November, 11th November 2024, an MOU has been signed between Russian Rosoboron Export and BDL for joint production of Pantsir weapon system. What is Pantsir? Pantsir is a air defense weapon system which has got a range of 20 kilometers. It has got 12 missiles. It has got two twin millimeter cannons of 4 kilometer range. Similarly, Bihu has lesser range. Its gun is 3 kilometers, missile is 7 kilometers. That is not accepted. This one. Now, I am just building up that we were having guns, lower, poor vintage, old vintage. We were having Strela Osa, again of 70s, old vintage, but only 10 kilometers. We are trying to get Pansy, which is about 20 kilometers. And Air Force has got Spider, which has got 50 to 20 kilometer range, but that does not operate in the tactical battle area. The air defense of tactical battle area, mechanized forces of tactical battle area, is the responsibility of Army air defense, ground-based air defense. Now, these are the type of voids which were existing. What were the voids? There's a void of range 30 kilometers. We cannot have. There's a void of vintage. We don't have that vintage. Third, we don't have a void. We had a void of QRSAM. What is this word QRSAM? You must have heard Akash in Tindu. QRSAM is a very typical type of missile. What does it do? It has five features. Firstly, it has the same mobility or even higher mobility than mechanized forces. Number one. Number two, what is number two? It can carry out surveillance on the move and can track the targets during the move. It can do firing on short halts, and also it is controlled centrally by a command and control system which can connect to the army control and reporting system, which I will speak later. So these are our void. We did not have QRSAM. We had range void, vintage void, and so on. Now enter the integrated air defense weapon system. This requirement was being felt by Army Air Defense for a long time. Now, what it is bringing to the fore, what it is bringing to the fore is very, very important. It is bringing three weapons to the fore, and I will relate each of this weapon to the void in the TBA. The first weapon, first of all, it is a mounted on high mobility vehicle. That means it can keep up with the tanks, BMPs, ICVs in the tactical battle area with the maneuver forces in time and space. Number one requirement. Number two, it has got a radar, very, very developed and highly advanced active phase array radar. Its surveillance range is 120 kilometers and its tracking range is 80 kilometers. This radar is connected to a multifunction radar. This is a surveillance radar. It's connected to a multifunction radar which is responsible for actually missile guidance and tracking. So the surveillance wise, it is looks really long, looks well outside the well far in outside of the TBA. Then talk about what about its kill. It for the kill, it has got a missile which is based on solid fuel propellant. What does it mean, solid fuel propellant? There is a liquid fuel propellant, there is a solid fuel propellant. Liquid fuel propellant is less responsive because it's a liquid, you have to recharge and so on. Solid fuel propellant is like more responsive, higher chemical capability, more heat and energy per unit mass, and therefore it can carry on for a long range. This range of this QRSAM is 3 kilometers to 30 kilometers range it can fire. So it is meeting what requirement? It is looking after the range void, 30 kilometers. It is looking after the mobility void, yes. It is looking after the surveillance void and also looking after the kill void. Now, last thing, guidance and navigation. How this missile is guided? During the mid-course, air defense missiles are guided in two fashion. One is called the mid-course, one is called the end game. What is mid-course? From launch up to the time it reaches close to the target, mid-course. And end game, when it is close to the target, what happens? So in the mid course, this missile is guided by inertial navigation system. This is you. I need not explain this very much. In the inertial navigation system is the most accurate inertial navigation system, which is has a tremendous accuracy. Whereas toward the end game, the missile has got a RF seeker, active RF seeker. It throws radar energy reflected back from the target and it homes on to the target for a precise hit. And why QRSAM? Why quick reaction? It can fire, shoot, and scoot from from a location from where it has fired. So this is the first component. Only the QRSAM. It is brought. It has remember what void it is addressing to, from Shilka Tungushka of 2.53 kilometers. Thereafter, Strela Osa 5 kilometers. Hopefully, Pansi later on 20 kilometers. Now 30 kilometers, 3 to 30 kilometers. It is covering the firearm seamlessly. Number one. Come to the second weapon. Now this QRSAM, have you must have read the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, or more importantly, the Ukraine war. How it is a case study. Actually, I've written a lot about it. How is it that Israel in a matter of 3 days, from 13 to 15 June, could achieve a favorable air situation, where the second mightiest air force in the world, which is Russia, could not achieve a favorable situation 3 years and plus, because the air defenses are not yet dead. If the air defenses remain alive to fight another day, the skies will remain contested. In that, I will bring the function of MRs, the manpads. Very they are called very short range air defense missile. Though very short range extends up to 10 kilometers, but manpads are shoulder fired, man portable, or can be mounted on a pedestal. When Ukrainians felt that the Russian attack helicopters, which are the attack helicopters, Mi-28, Ka-51, Ka-52, Kamov helicopters, were playing merry hell into the initial days of the war, February, March 2022. They were causing tremendous casualties in hunter-killer missions. So what did they do? They proliferated the entire again the tactical battle, again that they proliferated the tactical battle area with lots and lots of manpads. They were javelin, they were all, they were Russian Igla, Strela, 2M, all sorts of weapon systems. Chirag, they Chiron, they all packed it there. What happened? The number of manpads became so many that the Russian attack helicopters were overwhelmed. Even if their countermeasures were there, they could not suppress all the manpad, due to which they started to suffer heavy losses. Out of 100 attack helicopters deployed, they lost 26 in a matter of 3 months, which is a tremendous loss of not only machines, trained manpower. This is the function, this is the magic of manpads. Now this manpads, we have, I won't be able to tell you classified information. We have Igla manpads, but there are critical voids in the quantum holding. DRDO was trying for a long time. There was a case of getting a manpad from abroad. There were three vendors, which the case went on for 11 years, and we could not do anything. It did not happen. DRDO, Der Eye Durust Eye, rose to the occasion and produced its manpad as all elements of Swadeshi. I always say, जो अपना है वो स्वदेश, जो स्वदेशी है वो अपना है, जो विदेशी है वो सपना है. तो अपना they produced long time, very much delayed, but ultimately they produced a manpad. And what is the beauty of our manpad which they produced? It has got a two-dimensional photo detector chain. What is this chain? It is a heat-seeking manpad. It seeks the heat of the target and launches out. But this 2D grid of photo detectors makes it very, very sensitive to detecting enemy's heat signature. What does that happen? Even if the target is emitting very less heat because of its camouflage or because of its stealth, or even if the heat signature intermittently break, the missile will not break the count. Second, It has got a range of 250 meters to 6 kilometers, good enough range for all types of attack helicopters, drone threat, and giving an extensive envelope. So this can be immediate responder, first responder to attack helicopters and drone threat. Now I will come to explain the third component of integrated air defense weapon system, which is called the directed energy weapon. Now I will take you back to the drone scene. Drones, and have emerged as a potent air threat vehicles of today. It all started on 5th January 2018 when the first drone attack happened on the Khmeimim air base of Russia and Tartus naval base of Russia, all both in western Syria. Just 13 drones attacked, and Russians were protected with electronic warfare equipment. They're protected with Iglas. They're protected with Pansy. Only seven out of 13 drones could be destroyed. Six of them, two were destroyed by electronic warfare. Four still landed and caused major damage at Khmeimim Air Base. Thereafter came 14th, 15th September 2019. Just another 18 drones from Houthis caused so much damage on two of the oil facilities of Saudi Arabia, Khoras and Arkaib, that 5.9 million barrels of oil were disrupted. Half the production of the country for a day was disrupted. Then came the war of Azerbaijan and Armenia. Again, the drones of Azerbaijan brought Armenia to its feet. Remember Bayraktar TB2 and Horov. Then came the war of Ukraine, which I explained. Now imagine this progressing it forward. The Op Sindoor happened. In Op Sindoor, what happened? There was no large movement in TBA. There were no mechanized forces, there were no ICVs, there were no BMP. We were static war taking place and taking out their drones. What were our resources? Our resources were, first of all, we had the integrated drone detection and interdiction system, D4 system of DRDO, which has got surveillance and kill capability. Surveillance based on electro optics and RF and radar, and kill based on jamming and little bit of laser. So the jamming range only about 5 kilometers, and whereas the laser range only about 800 meters. Then we had a drone system by Zen Technologies Limited. This is the company which is the front runner in combat training and anti-drone solutions. Its anti-drone systems are being picked up by the Air Force, armed forces, and being deployed in Op Sindoor. They also proved their metal, and again, they are RF, EO, and IR based. RF, EO, RF and EO and radar based surveillance and RF based kill. Now, what is the requirement? The requirement is increase two things. Have the anti-drone capability on mobility-based vehicles so that you can go along with the mechanized forces and do anti-drone actions, number one. Number two, your laser capability is very low, 500, 800 meters, nothing. This system, which the DRDO has very proudly brought on board, is got a 30 kilowatt laser, five beams of 6 kilowatt. It has a range of 5 kilometers. Imagine our directed energy weapon capability going up so many notches. Now put these three weapons together. QRSAM, long range mobility, surveillance, tracking, and killing of major mainframe threat. What are the mainframe threat? Strike aircraft, attack helicopters, cruise missiles, anti-radiation missiles, etc., etc. Talk of QRSAM, immediate reaction by QRSAM on attack helicopters and drones. Talk of DW, immediate reaction to take down what? Drones and swarm drones. And how this whole integrated air defense weapon system will match up with the firearm of the TBA. Remember, Shilka, Tungushka, gun system, gun missile systems, followed by Strela Osa being replaced by higher systems, whichever will come, you have Pantsir, which will come superimposed by integrated air defense weapon system of what 30 kilometer QRSAM range, 6 kilometer of of the visual range, and 5 kilometer of the laser kill range. Imagine this firearm. That is why I have said in one of my writings that integrated air defense weapon system is a round peg in the round hole. It is not just out of the view. We have dropped this system from parachute and it is God's own. It is based on some thinking. What is the threat in TBA? What operates in TBA? What it is threatened with? What is the firearm? And how the firearm is integrated from few kilometers now up to 30 plus kilometers. Now, how this how this integrated air defense weapon system forms a part of Sudarshan Chakra. You know Sudarshan Chakra? You all know that the Prime Minister on 15th August announced that there will be a missile all together shield of Sudarshan Chakra, Lord Krishna Sudarshan Chakra, which even stopped the sun rays when Jathrath was to be killed and so on. So, taking the inspiration from that theme, a very nice explanation has been given by Air Marshal Roy. He is a managing member in the India Foundation Governing Council. Very nice articles written. He says the theme of Sudarshan Chakra is based on two things: protection and deterrence. It will provide you protection and it will have so powerful that it will deter the enemy. So what all it will have? It will have four things. It will have integrated air defense. Integrated air defense is something which will start from hundreds of kilometers. You know that DRDO is doing a project called Project Kusha, a long range surface to air missile. Its range will be 150 kilometers, 250 kilometers, 350 kilometers, same like S-400. Today in Obsandur, what is our outermost range? 400 kilometers provided by your your S-400 with 91 N6 Bluebird Big Bird radar, long range surveillance radar, and your multifunction radar called Gravestone, and your missiles 40, 120, 200, 400 kilometer range. Then there were MRSAM, Barak 8, 70 kilometers. Then there were Akash, 25 kilometers. Then there were Pichoras, 15 to 20 kilometers. Then there were L-70, Shilkas, Tankushkas, Strela, Osa, Igla, all weapon system up to 10 kilometers thereabout. All this were operating. But nobody talked about TBA. Nobody talked about TBA. This TBA link now comes in here in the Sudarshan Chakra, that if the battle rages in the tactical battle area, which it will rage, 100%, it will rage, because the battle has to have a forward phase. It will rage. So that area of tactical battle area air defense will now be in the hands of what? In the hands of guns which are Shilka upgraded, Tangushka not upgraded. Fine, forward by Strela and Osa AK 5 to 10 kilometers, by then Pensi 20 kilometers, thereafter your QRSAM of 30 kilometers, your Manpad or the Vishrat on IADWS 250 meters to 6 kilometers, and the directed energy weapon to take on the drones and swarm drones. See the connectivity in the Sudarshan Chakra? That is what is the importance of this weapon system at this point in time. That is where it is a part of Raksha Kavach, it is a part of our missile sheet, and it will also be a big flag of Make in India. I remember this QR Sam being an air defense officer. It has struggled for a long time. Bell has struggled with it for a long time. Its guidance was not proper. The missile was not getting gathered after firing. There were hundreds of problems, which ultimately we have sorted out and put this system on board. Again, after tremendous amount of delay, we have got our QRSAM on order, and DEW is also. So how slowly and steadily the Make in India is happening, the Atmanirbhar is happening, the Sudashan chakra is getting this thing. And in today's discussion, the integrated air defense weapon system is finding its feet as a round peg in the round hole. That is what I wanted to put across, friends, on integrated air defense weapon system. Thank you.
So thanks a lot. I think you covered the whole lot. I have a few fundamental questions, and then I see a lot of questions from the audience. So
Yeah,
we'll go over that. Could you
yeah.
just give an idea as to, for you know, broadly, what will be the numbers which will get inducted broadly? I mean, you don't have to go the exact figures.
I will tell you, first of all, this number game and quantum game is actually driven by our production capability. Now, there was a statement, if you remember, after our honorable defense minister congratulated, and the open source and open media talked about diversifying the production of integrated air defense weapon system along with its components of what all QRSAM, Visharan and DW to private industry. There's a private industry, there's already a directed energy weapon made by a private player already as an IDX challenge. So we will require I will not be able to give you the number here. I don't want to actually give you the number, but
That's okay.
remember that.
Broadly,
But I'll
broad
tell,
number. And how do you think, what will be the time frame in which you feel that this
yeah,
will get inducted?
the time frame has to be very speeded up. Now I'll tell you. I'll draw a reference. Then you will understand what I'm saying. Akash weapon system. Everybody says DRDO Akash, DRDO Akash. No, sorry. DRDO is design. Akash is by Bell, Akash is by L&T, Akash is by 500 other companies which are making small parts of Akash. Thereby, so many players. When Pansir comes, it is not only BDL. When Pansir comes, there are BDL and 20 different companies. When this QRSAM comes, Bell is not going to be the only producer. There are many big players. There are Mahindra, there are Adani, there are L&T. There are so many big players
Yeah.
which are
So
which are
who's
ready.
going to come in and yeah, that's fine. That's a fair one, sir. Um, right. I just want to tell everyone who's here. Look, General Saxena spoke of Strela 10M. I just want to put across to you, there is a program on at this point of time, and we are doing it. And where the Strela 10M is being refurbished. What is the refurbishment which is to be done in a Strela 10M? It's the propellants. You'll be changing the propellants. When that happens, the Stella 10M is all new, and we probably might not have to go for another replacement immediately. So, in such manner, a lot of things are happening in air defense also. And I must also tell everyone that air defense or army air defense is one of the few arms which has indigenized quite rapidly, right? And a whole lot today is indigenized. Either it is indigenized or it's of old vintage which we are still in use. We are not importing any air defense, whether it's Akash or whether you're talking of now. I mean, the names have not come out for these. They'll give some name for this, right? All these are our own. Even Akash Tir, which stitches all these together, is our own, right? So we can be proud of the fact that we have a completely indigenous Atmanirbhar air defense, and we have the
Here,
ecosystem which, yeah, please, sir.
you made a fantastic point. I forgot to tell your audience. Now, one more point of it is, General PR has made a fantastic point. What he has said, he's talked about the command and control. Now, remember, air defense battle is nobody's alone battle. First of all, there are three pillars of air defense. One is called the sensors, one is called the shooters, one is called the battle management and control system. Sensors, of course, they look forward, they look at the enemy air threat, and they report the picture back. Shooters, the one which kill, will intercept. But what is the umbilical cord which connects them is the air defense control and reporting system. In short, you can call it battle management and control system. Now, air defense is not related to a service. Air defense is a national capability. And you know who is responsible for air defense of the Indian national airspace? It is Air Force, whose primary responsibility is of national air defense. But how this task is executed in different core competency domains by different services, for which Air Force has laid down a system called a nationwide integrated air command and control system, IACCS. It is connecting from the highest air defense command and control node comes to the army core air defense command node called the joint air defense control center. From there, their system, which you must have heard many times in Sindoor, Akash Tir, it takes on from there and goes forward. Now, what all is the function of army or this ADCNR? It first of all, if there are 20 radars and they see one target, how many they will report? 20 targets. The first thing is it carries out multi-sensor fusion and removal of duplication. It creates a air situation picture. Of the air situation picture, it finds out which is the one which is hostile and which is identification friend and foe, IFF. Once the identification is carried out, then it becomes a recognized air situation picture, RASP. Out of the RASP, it prioritizes which is the most potent threat which is coming close to me by immediacy and lethality. Then it says which is the most suitable weapon which can engage at this time. Sometimes the missile is one most suited, sometimes the aircraft is most suited, sometimes something else. Then it passes the air threat data to that weapon and controls the fire of this weapon system, shifting seamlessly from weapon to weapon. This is the whole chain, the top chain. Now the weapon system, like Akash weapon system, it is integrated to this chain. It's something like you have a series of bulbs connected to the main line. This integrated air defense weapon system has got its integrated command and control center, which will hook in directly with integrated ISCCS Akash seed chain, which the general just mentioned. I thought I will put this point in order that this is also one of the features of IADWS. All yours, sir.
Yeah. Oh, thanks a lot, sir. I think, we've got a fantastic picture today of our air defense capability, and it is a formidable capability. Many of you would have seen the Chinese military parade today, where they showed all fancy things, right? Let me give you a heads up on all this nonsense which they've shown. Most of these systems won't function in high altitude. And if they function in high altitude, all what we are developing will knock them down. So don't worry about it, right? That's what, in short, I wanted to say. So, with your permission, there are a lot of good questions. So, I would like to take a
Yes.
few questions
Yeah,
because,
please
right,
go ahead.
right. And what I'd request you, sir, is be a little short because then we can take more questions.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the whole thing. And I would like to take more questions. Then,
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
Yeah, first is your course mate is online. It is great to see my dearest coursemate, General V.K. Saxena on gunner shot. That is Vinayak Ramnarayan, Brigadier Vinayak
Oh,
Ramnarayan. So
he's
you
not
can
a
have
friend, he's a
you can give
family.
your yeah, his family. Okay. Yeah, I
I know
met
he's a
him. I met
family.
him in Bhopal. I met
He's
him
like a great
five
job in
6 months
Bhopal,
back
yeah.
in
I
Bhopal.
salute him.
Uh, right. Okay. Let me go from the top. First and foremost, PS Ratra, thanks a lot for becoming a member. Then, yeah, let me get to the right. Let me get, yeah, okay. Sir, thoroughly enjoyed your article, Op Sindoor, some thoughts on ground-based air defense, which you have written. Kudos to you. Yeah, yeah. Uh, did our AD's very good performance in Op Sindoor create deterrence against China also? Yeah, naturally it is, but I'd like you to answer. Don't you think our AD
Yeah.
is a difference to China?
Uh, if you really ask me, air defense capability has got two portions, intent and capability. First of all, we have shown the intent that we will develop every single component of air defense surveillance, kill and battle management ourselves. Proud to tell you that ISCCS, Akash Tir and Navy में त्रिगुण बोलते हैं, all are indigenous. Our EW system, which has just come out, Sashastra Shakti, is a totally indigenous. When you create a capability of the variety like IADWS or your Akash system, Akash Prime, being deployed in the northern reaches, it sends tremendous signals to both the adversaries.
Yeah,
And if you really ask me, jet aircraft which are there across, the ironclad friendship and all, it actually, when I say Wing Loom 2, don't think Wing Loom 2, I'm talking of northern sector. A few of them will get loaned because of the CEPC threat, and the BLA threat. So our capability sends signals both ways.
yeah. Next question, next thing, sir. What is the operational future of DEWs? I have been hearing for a half a decade that Israel has developed and deployed these, but they are not a proper embedding of DEWs in conventional operations.
Yeah, this is a very, very, who's this, Shrikant?
Shruti Kotaris.
Fantastic question. Fantastic question. Why? Because we may talk, first of all, when the DWs in terms of let me also tell you before I answer the question that the DWs are in three different areas. Normally, one is called the laser, one is called the high power microwave, and third is called the charged particle beam. Laser, of course, coherent beams over, they fry up the components of electronics and electromagnetics on board the threat vehicles and kill them. What is high power microwave? They carry out adiabatic killing, accelerated electron. They adiabatic killing means they materially disintegrate. Whereas in charged particle beam, there are charged beams of electrons which impinge and kill the target. Now, high power microwave is also under development. It is called the AUHPM. AUHPM Mark II weapon system is already there. What is AUHPM? Anti-US high power microwave. It is called the AUHPM Mark II. Very, very important. DRD is already developing it, but not yet reached
Thank you.
anywhere till now. But
Thank
let
you,
me
sir.
just tell you the important point which I want to tell you: when you fire this DEW in the tactical battle area, you have to be very, very careful of not killing and not incapacitating your own command, control, communication, and other networks. This is a very, very pertinent issue which we have, which is a live problem. Second problem with laser is the power. So how to generate so much power so that to kill the weapon. One is the new concept, which is not new really, is to generate power on ground, have a system of optics and reflectors to impinge it on the target, even from space. That is the thing. Okay. I hope I answered because it's a long answer. I
Yeah, yeah,
just
yes.
gave you
No,
an
no, no issue. No, yeah, yes. General Shankar, you're our intellect model, sir. Beyond words, respect for you deep from my heart. Thanks a lot, Dr. Warwick. So nice
Thank
of
you,
you
sir.
to give this compliment, but we'll do our
Thank you, sir.
best. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Uh, right. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic to see DGs of two important arms come together and disseminate knowledge. What are commercial prospects here? Is it possible to export the system as a package to friendly nations? Look, you can do it. There's no problem. But I think first and foremost, we should give it to our own people, and then we'll talk of the thing. That is far away, right? We'll not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Right. General Shankar, sir, you're bringing so many experts for discussion. General Saxena is damn good, sir. Congratulations. There's a lot of people have echoed it. General Saxena is very erudite and intellectually loving to listen to him. That's very good. Okay. Um, Okay. Now, Lofi says, sir, what about stealth aircrafts? And also, sir, as you explained, each AD missile is very complicated. Do we have enough capacity for two-front war and simultaneously exporting them? We'll not talk of exporting. I'm sure like he said, capacity will get built up and it's a matter of time. So, but your view, sir, I would like you to focus on stealth aircraft. The rest of the things I don't think are.
I will tell you 2 points. First of all, your first question is From the time, first of all, no air defense in the whole world with any nation is adequate. It's always at priority. It's always at premium. But today, our air defense, quantum wise and capability wise, is not only being concentrated on one front. We are building up both the fronts simultaneously. You must have heard in the open source the deployment of Akash weapon system, QRSAM, not Akash weapon system, as well as the Visharat in the northern sector. And also, there is a very big drive which is taking place of shifting the center of gravity of air threat. What is meant by that, shifting the center of gravity of the air threat? Most of our shooters, sensors are monoliths, 15 to 25 tons of weight. So therefore, whereas in the higher reaches, you require weapon systems which are fast moving, which are small, which can go at a long ranges. And this is taking place right now. We have weapons which are being made, which are worthy to be taken to higher altitude and in those reaches. Number one. Number two, we are talking of radars today, which are on active radars. But today I won't share classified information. There are efforts to go beyond active in terms of passive domain. Today there are fuel guzzling generators which cannot go to Leh Ladakh, that area. We are talking of fuel cells. There are radars which are so small that they can go on 6 mules. What are you talking about? Vehicle mules, and they provide a range of more than 3 to 4 kilometers and drone capability of zero point zero zero 0.001 to 0.003 square meter RCS. So we are building capability, and this is what is happening.
Right, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Then another comment, Prabjot Singh says, Masterclass, thank you. Amitesh Behra says, please call him frequently, sir. It's an open offer. Whenever you want to come on Gunnershot, just give me a WhatsApp and let go.
Thank you.
No problem.
That I must tell you that I told him today, but PR being an old friend, he obliged today only, and I put on this thing
Yeah.
to sit on the
Okay. Okay. So Saurabh Sabharwal says, following Saxena, sir, for LSTV days, from LSTV days, Lok Sabha TV. So these Visharats in this system can replace manpads. Also, sir, what happened to Kalam, sir? Dream missile progressing, going, delivering back. Great show. Yeah, that'll
It is.
happen in its own time. Don't worry.
Also, one more small point here. I must tell
Yeah, yeah,
Saurabh
please.
that that I will be finishing writing of that paper. That what is there in our own ballistic missile defense program AD? What it is getting stuck with somewhere. AD-1, AD-2 hypersonic missile system. But today, such Josh is I am seeing in our own indigenous as well as private players that they are coming up with many solutions which are even progressing. We do not have just one player, DRDO and Bell, who will make everything. Today, private players are ready to take on the missile development, missile making, and provide you weapon system of top quality. That should settle the doubt on Kalam's dream. Okay. And if you
Right.
give me 30 seconds, PR, I will tell you, I've had the privilege to work with Dr. Kalam in my very humble capacity as director MO7. I saw him. He got hurt, he got accident in some place coming to Hyderabad. And we were all sitting waiting for him in DRDO. The moment he arrived, I found the waiter who was serving us. He threw the plate, he threw the tray, he went, ran, and hugged him. And he said, Sir, how are you? You got hurt. Then I looked at him. I said, This is a missile man of our country, but he's loved by one and all. My salutes to him always and today.
Yeah. So while visualizing Op Sindoor 2, there may be need for our military forces to go kinetic. The conflict zone and even the TBA would need fifth precise SATA. Do we have the requisite radars? We have, don't worry. We have adequate SATA equipment, right? Don't worry about it. In fact, we are the best of the class. Then yeah, it says Mahendra Somkumar. He says, what is the difference between civil air defense integration that you perceive and civil defense integration that Pakistan and China has?
Civil defense integration is basically to uh, avoid the fratricide, blue over blue. Civil air defense, civil with civil defense, what happens is one is civil aviation control, one is civil defense is a totally different type of defense. Air defense is a type of defense which is protecting you from the air threat. It has got connect with Air Force. Air Force has got a connect with civil aviation. The connect of air defense is on the route of fratricide, on the route of blue on blue. We have regular SOPs, we have regular exchanges with them. We make sure that the drones, which are common between civil and air, which have certain reconnaissance aircraft, certain AEWCS aircraft, which are also civil platforms, are totally coordinated. That is the coordination at the air defense level.
Yeah. So, Guruji, please say Russia agrees. People say Russia agrees for Indian TOT easily because they know India PSUs don't have vision, tech, have skilled workforce to digest and build advance on it. Well, that's a view.
Okay.
I don't agree with it. Right? If we
I
get the
can just
TOT, I'm
tell,
sure.
I can tell only one
Right.
thing to this gentleman. Just one thing, only one thing. You remember when we were making program media was associated with the ballistic missile defense system, we did not have the long range surveillance radar, LRSR. We have talked to Israelis, they said we have green pine. Then we said, all right, we send our engineers, teach them about something. They say, we will teach you, we'll send you the green, will send, you can import, but we'll train your engineers for it. Over 200 or 30 or something engineers went to Israel. Initially, they were only giving them jhadu pocha job, just look at this, iska muh idhar hai, pooch idhar hai. Slowly and steadily, the intellect of our guys, I will not have any doubt on that. They started to depend on our intellect slowly, and they started to make them enter into domains which were not assigned initially. And when we came back after 6 years, we produced our own long range surveillance radar. Of course, some critical components came from Israel, but we did that. Similarly, for DEW, we are almost front rank. Our QR SAM with 2D grid of photosensitive detectors is one of the best today. So let's be
We are
positive.
okay. Don't worry.
We are not the best.
Yeah, we'll be okay. Okay. Dharamveer Singh, thanks a lot for joining in as a member. Now let me, yeah, 1 minute, sir. Yeah, we could have a talk, a short at it, sir. Can you please tell us a little about the photonic radar and some of its capabilities?
Yes, I was about to tell you that there are four types of radar development which have to take place. Today we have active radars. What is active radar? Which carry out uh, throw the reflected radar energy in the space and it gets reflected back. So what it is vulnerable to? It is vulnerable to anti-radiation missile. It is vulnerable to quick detection. It is vulnerable to the counter rocket and mortar fire, etc. So what is the first development which is taking place? We are going for coherent passive radar. Coherent passive radar are the one which do not reflect radar energy. They only passively look at the targets and detect. Third, there is I won't tell you where we are at the moment. There is a thought of LIDAR. You know what is LIDAR? Light detection and ranging. Laser-based radar. Very coherent, very free, very sharp on frequency and very quick on deployment. Very quick on detection in high resolution. And then we are going for quantum radar, which we are calling photonic radar. What is photonic radar? It is a photon entanglement. There is a photon which breaks into two, which is broken into two. The radar sends one as a reference photon, and other is photon which goes and interacts or hits the target and comes back, and its characteristics are distorted from the reference photon. So by comparing these two photons, the range, height, altitude, precise location of the target can be determined. This is called the quantum radar. China has got a number of quantum radar, DW, D4, DI211C, we are also into the research mode of quantum law. Where we are, I will not tell you, though I have privileged information on
Anyway, it's
both
okay. No,
labs.
that's fine. We'll leave it at that. Right. Bhishma Pita, he says, is air defense system different from Air Force? Look, he explained to you. Look, the air defense, Air Force is the one who is overall responsible for the air defense of the country. The Army air defense gets tucked into that. Then whatever the Navy has also gets tucked into that. The ultimate thing is that the air defense of the country is the responsibility of the Air Force. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay,
Uh, just,
so what
just
is the
remember one thing. Just remember one point that if there are three brothers, if one of them has to be made responsible, who will be made responsible? Who has a major stake in the air. So Air Force is responsible for the nation's air defense as a battle management command and control system, which is also handshaking. But there are by perforce there are weapon systems which lie in the core competency domain of Air Force. Like for example, the fleet-based air defense of the Navy is totally independent of Army and Air Force. But the shore-based air defense of Navy is with the Army. Similarly, ground-based air defense weapon systems are being best managed by ground forces. Army, Air Force got aircrafts, air defense aircraft, also got long-range missiles like S-400, got Pichora, it got OSA, and so on. So it is a combined national air defense strength of the country, which today 5-4 is an integrated one.
Thank you, sir. What is the situation of close-in weapon systems? Guns like 30 and 20 gun, is India working in something like the phalanx system?
Very, very pertinent question. There are a lot of people who have written the obituary of guns. But I, as an air defense warrior, have always maintained guns are the last sentinels of defense. Remember, last sentinels of air defense. They cannot be, they are unjammable. They are the last, they must be retained. Now, our air defense fleet, as you know, are in the Army air defense, first I talk about, are maintained by L-70 and ZU-23. Way back 1997, 98, there were thought of futuristic gun, but I will not go into 2 3 decades what's happened. But today we are very close to the futuristic gun. And what is the more important than the delays? Know the capability. Today, the futuristic gun has got 5 different capabilities. First of all, we are not settling down for a range less than 3.5 to 4 kilometers. Number one. Number two, we want the ammunition of these guns to be smart. What is meant by smart? The smart has got 3 things. First of all, it has got a solid component propellant. Means solid composite propellant which has higher energy per unit mass and very, very smart. Number one. Number two, accurate fusing. Accurate fusing means what? Fuse is so accurate that at the precise time it will let the warhead go. And third is called the P-cube ammunition. What is P-cube? P-cube or PPP is a pre-fragmented programmable proximity fused ammunition. We are going in for smart ammunition. Also, we are going in for dual sighting. What is dual sighting? One is a normal sight, which is the gun sight. Other is a electro-optical fire control system. What is electro-optical fire control system? It has got a day camera, it has got a night camera, it has got a laser range finder, and it has got a fire control computing device. This is we are going in on board AWS. Then minimum crew, not more than three, not more than three, so that we can have more. So this sort of
Okay, fine,
similarly,
sir. We'll
Air Force
let
is also.
that right. So the last question. Iran was able to breach Israel's air defense. Any lessons for India?
Yes, a lot of. I request you to read my article. How Israel achieved a favorable air situation in 48 hours, which Russia cannot achieve in 3 years plus. What are the 5 different things we did? First of all, the type of preparation which they did to kill the air defense is not of one strike. It went on for 3.5 years. What all happened? First of all, they established a drone control center at the borders of Tehran, where kamikaze drones, FPV drones, and small drones carrying warheads were ready to strike air. They were going for air defenses. Number one. Number two, they put at very precise locations remote controlled weapon system, which is called RCWS, which can be fired remotely to take on and destroy the air defense sites and air defense missiles, air defense control. Third, they specifically target the air defense control nodes like the one IACC as Akash Tir I'm talking. This went on for 3 years. They prepared the ground. Then, once the ground was prepared, then they put the aircraft. Which is the aircraft which they put? You know that F-35 Adir, which is operationally integrated with F-15. This is a type of aircraft which got a RCS of 0.0035 meters square. Got a stealthy aircraft. Also, it is got tremendous capability to degrade the PMU type of radars S-300 which Iran was putting across. Third, it had a standoff range of 130 to 145 kilometers. When this strike weapon systems were going over Iraq, their systems were destroyed well before. Their sensors were destroyed well before. So when the strike package came here, just short of the package, the air defense weapon systems were reduced to near zero by what? By kamikaze drones, by remote controlled weapon stations, by various explosive devices which went through, and most of them were also caught 2 a.m. in the night, not in the prepared condition. And their PMUs, which they were very proud of, were also degraded. And followed just behind them came F-15, which did the job. That is where, and also one of the pilots of the Israeli Air Force has said that don't think that Iranian air defense was a joke. It was not a joke. They had tremendous radars. They had fantastic weapon systems. Only thing is that they were destroyed and they were not operated well. They also had many types of aircrafts. A5, they had F7. They were also scrambled. But looking at F-15, one of the Israeli pilots have put up a satire. Uh, I don't mean any disrespect to the Iranian air defense. They say they came, they saw us, they fled. They fled away. No, nobody flies away. It is overmatched. There is the F-35 and there is the F-5, which will win. There is the F-7, who will win. So that is the
Yeah.
reason Iran achieved favorable air situation by killing air defense. Remember, air defense. If the air defense is alive, favorable air situation cannot be achieved. And therefore, today air defense is not called defense. It is in air denial mode. If air defense is alive, air is denied. If air defense is killed, air is open. And you achieve favorable air. Next time the aircrafts were bombing Tehran, taking off from close by. That is the reason.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for that lovely discourse, sir.
Thank you.
Lastly, Sri Hari Raju Penmasta, thanks a lot for all the gunner shot memberships you've given to 50 people. All I
Thank you.
request everyone is those who get this memberships, please continue with it. Right. So thanks a lot. We've had a
Thank you.
terrific thing. I see for the kind of questions which have come, you excited them a lot, and they want you to come back. So next time you have a subject you want to speak on, just give me a thing and we'll fix it.
100%.
Right?
200%. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And also Prakash Singers, thanks a lot for your super sticker, and thanks a lot to everyone to attend. Come back tomorrow morning. A lot. There are too many things happening in the world at this point of time, right? Uh, One is, of course, that military parade, which is a propaganda show, more propaganda show than anything else. We'll discuss that. That's not very great. Okay. I mean, I don't consider it great. But what is more interesting is the meltdown which is happening in the West about India, swinging away, India showing the red card to them or the yellow card to them. And the reactions are huge. So we'll talk of that tomorrow in the morning. Okay, 9 o'clock. So join in at 9 o'clock. I've already put the video out, so the notification for all those of you who are subscribed, you have your notifications, you have got it. Join in. I got some very interesting clippings and views from the West who are very worried that India is leaving them and going over to China. We know the truth, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. Till then, thank you. Saxena sir, thanks a lot, and Jai Hind to you,
Thank
and
you.
grateful that you joined us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.